The tomatoes were coming in beautifully that year. I was kneeling in my garden bed, hands deep in the warm soil, when I heard the car pull into my driveway. I wasn't expecting anyone. I looked up and saw Rebecca's silver SUV, my daughter. She lived 40 minutes away and usually called before visiting. My stomach did a little flip, the way it does when something feels off. She got out of the car carrying a leather folder. Her face was set in that expression I recognized from when she was a teenager and had done something wrong, but was trying to act confident about it. "Hey, Mom," she called out, her voice too bright. "Becca? What a nice surprise." I stood up, brushing dirt from my knees. "I was just thinking about making some lemonade. Want some?" "Actually, Mom, I need to talk to you about something important." My chest felt tight. Important conversations that start with that tone are never good news. We sat on the deck, the one my husband Tom built 20 years ago. The ocean stretched out before us, endless and blue. I'd watched that ocean every single day for 40 years. Rebecca placed the folder on the table between us. "Mom, I've been thinking a lot about your situation." "My situation?" "You're 68. You're living alone in this big house. The stairs, the maintenance, the isolation. I worry about you." "Honey, I'm perfectly fine. I garden. I walk on the beach every morning. Linda and I have dinner twice a week." "Mom, you left the stove on last month." I stared at her. "No, I didn't." "You did. I came by and found it on. You'd forgotten." That was a lie. A complete lie. I hadn't left anything on. I'm careful. Always have been. "Rebecca, that never happened." She opened the folder. Brochures spilled out. Glossy photos of smiling elderly people, manicured lawns, cheerful dining rooms. "I've found the perfect place for you. Sunrise Meadows. It's gorgeous, Mom. You'd have your own apartment, meals prepared, activities, medical staff on site. You'd make friends. You'd be safe." The words hit me like cold water. "You want to put me in a home?" "It's not a home, Mom. It's a community. A beautiful, supportive community." Welcome to Viral Revenge File Stories. Could you please tell us where you're watching from, and if this is your first time visiting this page, kindly subscribe and turn the notification bell on so you don't miss out on other stories. Trust me, you'll want to hear how this one ends. I don't want to go to a community. I want to stay in my house. Rebecca's expression hardened. That's when I saw it. This wasn't a conversation. This was an announcement. "Mom, I've already made the arrangements. You're moving next month." My hands went numb. "What do you mean you've made arrangements?" She pulled out more papers. Official-looking documents. "I've toured the facility. I've secured you a spot. And Mom..." She paused, not quite meeting my eyes. "I've sold the house." The world stopped. The ocean stopped. Everything stopped. "You've what?" "I sold the house. We got a great price. $850,000. It'll pay for your care for years, and this is my house, Rebecca. Mine. You can't sell my house." "Mom, please don't get upset. This is what's best. You're not thinking clearly. That's exactly why you need professional care." I couldn't breathe. 40 years. 40 years of memories. The house where Tom proposed to me, where we brought Rebecca home from the hospital, where Tom died in our bedroom 5 years ago, holding my hand. "We're packing you up tomorrow," Rebecca said, standing. "I've hired movers. Just pack your personal items. I'll handle the rest." She left the brochures and papers on my deck table. She kissed my forehead like I was a child, and then she drove away. I sat there as the sun started to set, staring at those glossy brochures, and felt something I'd never felt toward my daughter before. Rage. I didn't sleep that night. I walked through my house in the darkness, touching the walls, the door frames, The kitchen counter where Tom used to make pancakes every Sunday morning. How does someone sell 40 years of your life without your permission? I stood in the living room where we celebrated every Christmas, where Rebecca took her first steps, where Tom and I danced to old records on our anniversary. My hands were shaking. I kept replaying Rebecca's words. You're not thinking clearly. I'm 68 years old. I read 3 books a month. I do the crossword puzzle every morning. I manage my finances, my health, my home. I'm not confused. I'm not declining. So why was my own daughter treating me like I was? At 3 a.m, I sat at the kitchen table with a cup of tea I didn't drink. The house was silent except for the ocean outside. I thought about Tom. He died 5 years ago from cancer. Toward the end, when he was still lucid, he made me promise something. Maggie, he'd said, his voice weak, don't ever let anyone take this house from you. I built it for you. For our family, it's not just wood and nails, it's our legacy. I'd kissed his forehead. I promise. Now I was breaking that promise, because I'd let my guard down, because I'd trusted my own daughter. I pulled out my phone and looked at the documents Rebecca left. The sale contract. I read it carefully. The buyer was listed as Coastal Properties, LLC. The sale price, $850,000. The closing date, 3 weeks from now. And at the bottom, a signature. My signature. Except I never signed anything. My blood went cold. I looked closer. It was a good forgery. Very good. But I could tell. The loop on my M was slightly different. The slant was wrong. Rebecca had forged my signature. My own daughter had committed fraud. I sat back in my chair, my mind racing. This wasn't about my safety. This wasn't about my health. This was about money. But why? Rebecca and her husband Derek seemed comfortable. They had a nice house, new cars, took vacations. Why would she need to steal from me? I thought back over the past few months. Rebecca's visits had increased. She'd started asking questions about my accounts, my investments, my will. Just want to make sure everything's in order, Mom, she'd said, in case anything happens. I thought she was being thoughtful. Now I realized she was being strategic. The sun started to rise. Golden light spread across the ocean. I made a decision. I wasn't going to cry. I wasn't going to fall apart. I wasn't going to let my daughter steal my life. I was going to fight back. But I needed information first. At 8 o'clock, I called Linda. Maggie, what's wrong? She could always hear it in my voice. Can you come over? I need your help with something. She was there in 15 minutes. I showed her everything. The brochures, the sale contract, the forged signature. Linda's face went red. That little... I need to know why, I interrupted. Why would Rebecca do this? Money. It's always money. But why does she need it? Linda looked at me seriously. There's only one way to find out. We investigate. If you've ever been betrayed by someone you trusted completely, someone you raised and loved and sacrificed for, comment with your heartbreak emoji and tell us about it. Because what I was about to discover would break my heart in ways I never imagined. But it would also wake up a part of me I didn't know existed, the part that doesn't forgive betrayal, the part that fights back. Linda sat across from me at my kitchen table, her reading glasses perched on her nose as she examined the documents Rebecca had left behind. This is fraud, Maggie. Plain and simple fraud. I poured us both coffee. My hands were steadier now. Anger has a way of burning through shock. I need to understand why she's doing this, I said. It doesn't make sense. Derek has a good job. They seem fine financially. Linda looked up at me. Do they, though? When's the last time you actually saw their life up close? I thought about it. Rebecca always came to my house. I hadn't been to hers in months. maybe longer. She always says they're too busy to host, I said slowly. That the house is a mess, or they're renovating, or Derek's working late. Convenient. Linda was right. It was convenient. Too convenient. Walk me through the last few months, Linda said. When did Rebecca start acting different? I closed my eyes, thinking back. Maybe 4 months ago. She started calling more often, visiting more. At first I was happy about it. I thought she just wanted to spend time with me. What did she talk about? My health, mostly. She kept asking if I was taking my medications correctly, if I was forgetting appointments. She brought up Tom's decline before he died, asking if I was experiencing anything similar. Linda's jaw tightened. She was building a narrative. What do you mean? She was planting seeds, Maggie, getting you to question yourself, making everyone think you were declining. That way, when she made her move, people would believe her. The coffee turned bitter in my mouth. I remembered something else. Last month, at my nephew's birthday party, Rebecca pulled me aside. She said several family members had expressed concern about me living alone. She said Aunt Dorothy mentioned I seemed confused at Thanksgiving. Were you confused? No, I was perfectly fine. I had a wonderful time. Linda leaned forward. Did Rebecca talk to Aunt Dorothy in front of you that day? I tried to remember. Yes. They were in the kitchen together for a while, talking quietly. She was poisoning the well, Linda said, her voice hard, telling people you were declining so when this moment came, she'd have witnesses. People who would say, "Oh yes, poor Margaret, we were worried too." I felt sick. My own daughter had been systematically destroying my reputation for months, setting me up. There's more, I said quietly. I went to my desk and pulled out my bank statements. 3 months ago, there was a notation I'd almost missed, an attempted transaction. Someone had tried to add themselves as a joint account holder on my primary savings account. The bank had denied it because I hadn't been present. I called the bank when I saw this, I said. They told me someone claiming to be my daughter said I'd authorized it but was too ill to come in person. The bank required me to appear in person or send notarized documents. I never followed up because I thought it was a mistake. Linda's face had gone pale. She tried to get access to your money. Yes. And when that didn't work, she went for the house. Yes. We sat in silence. The ocean waves crashed outside, steady and eternal. They'd been here before me. They'd be here after me. But this house was mine. My life was mine. What are you going to do? Linda asked. I looked at my best friend. We'd been neighbors for 15 years. We'd buried our husbands within 2 years of each other. We'd held each other through grief and loneliness and the strange freedom of late life independence. I'm going to find out exactly what Rebecca is up to, I said. And then I'm going to stop her. How? I don't know yet, but I'm not some confused old woman who can be manipulated and discarded. Linda smiled. It wasn't a kind smile. It was the smile of a woman who'd raised 3 children and buried a husband and knew exactly how cruel the world could be. Good, she said, because I'm helping you. At 9 o'clock Monday morning, I sat in the office of Mr. James Patterson, the lawyer who'd handled Tom's estate. He was 65, with silver hair and sharp eyes that missed nothing. He'd known my family for 20 years. Margaret, he said, shaking my hand, it's good to see you, though I wish it were under better circumstances. You sounded upset on the phone. I laid out everything. The brochures, the sale contract, the forged signature, the bank attempt, Rebecca's months-long campaign to paint me as mentally declining. Mr. Patterson's expression grew darker with each detail. When I finished, he sat back in his chair. I need to tell you something, he said, and you're not going to like it. My stomach dropped. 3 months ago, Rebecca came to this office. She wanted to establish power of attorney over your affairs. The room tilted. What? She claimed you were experiencing early dementia. She said you'd asked her to handle it, but were too embarrassed to come in yourself. She had documents drawn up. Did you do it? Of course not. I told her that you would need to be present, that I'd need to assess your capacity myself, and that such arrangements require careful consideration. I also told her I'd be calling you to discuss it. She never mentioned it. I called you twice, left messages. You never called back. I never got any messages. Mr. Patterson's eyes narrowed. Do you live alone? Yes. Does Rebecca have a key to your house? Oh, God. Yes, for emergencies. She was deleting my messages, Mr. Patterson said. She has access to your voicemail. I felt cold all over. How long had Rebecca been monitoring my communications? What else had she intercepted? Mr. Patterson, can she legally sell my house? Not without your genuine signature and presence at closing. The forgery is illegal. But Margaret, if she's willing to commit fraud, she's desperate. Desperate people are dangerous. What should I do? He pulled out a legal pad. First, we document everything. I want copies of all these documents. Second, we prove your mental competency beyond any doubt. I'm scheduling you for a full cognitive assessment with a neuropsychologist this week. Third, we secure your assets. How? We transfer the house into an irrevocable trust. That way, even if Rebecca somehow gets power of attorney fraudulently, she can't touch it. The house will be protected. Can we do that quickly? I'll have the papers ready by Wednesday. I felt a weight lift slightly. At least the house would be safe. There's something else I need, I said. What's that? I need to know why Rebecca is doing this, what she needs the money for. Mr. Verstracker, Patterson studied me. You want to hire an investigator? Yes. He wrote down a name and number on his notepad, then slid it across the desk to me. Marcus Reed, former police detective. Discreet, thorough, and fast. Tell him I sent you. I took the paper, folding it carefully. Margaret, Mr. Patterson said gently, I have to ask, what's your end goal here? Do you want to press charges, sue for fraud, or do you want to understand what's happening with your daughter? I thought about Rebecca as a little girl, the way she used to hold my hand crossing the street, the way she cried when she scraped her knee and only I could make it better, the way she danced in the kitchen while I cooked dinner. Where had that little girl gone? I want the truth, I said, and then I'll decide what to do with it. Mr. Patterson nodded. Then let's get you the truth. I left his office with 3 things: an appointment for a cognitive assessment, paperwork to establish a trust, and the phone number of a private investigator. For the first time since Rebecca's announcement, I felt like I had some control. I wasn't a victim anymore. I was a woman with a plan. That afternoon, I called Marcus Reed. Mr. Reed, my name is Margaret Chen. James Patterson gave me your number. I need you to follow my daughter. There was a pause. Tell me everything, he said. And I did. He listened without interrupting. When I finished, he was quiet for a moment. Mrs. Chen, I'll be honest. Family cases are complicated. Sometimes people don't want to know what I find. I need to know, I said. Whatever it is. All right. I'll start tomorrow. I'll need photos of your daughter and her husband, their address, vehicle information, and their daily routines as far as you know them. I gave him everything. How long will this take? I asked. Give me a week. If there's something to find, I'll find it. After I hung up, I sat on my deck watching the ocean. The sun was setting, painting the sky in shades of orange and pink. Tom and I used to watch the sunset together every evening. I'm fighting for us, I whispered to him. I'm fighting for what we built. The waves crashed against the shore, constant and relentless. I could be constant too. I could be relentless too. Rebecca thought she was dealing with a fragile old woman. She was about to learn exactly how strong her mother really was. 6 days later, Marcus Reed called me. "Mrs. Chen, we need to meet. I have information, but I'd prefer to share it in person." My heart hammered. "Is it bad?" "Let's just say you were right to hire me." He came to my house that evening. Linda insisted on being there, and I was grateful. I needed someone in my corner. Marcus was younger than I expected, maybe 50, with tired eyes that had seen too much. He carried a manila folder thick with documents. We sat in my living room. He didn't waste time. "Your daughter Rebecca is in serious financial trouble. So is her husband Derek. But it's Derek who's the primary problem." He opened the folder and spread out photographs on my coffee table. "Derek Morrison has a gambling addiction, a severe one." The photos showed Derek at various casinos, sitting at poker tables, standing at slot machines, meeting with men in parking lots, exchanging envelopes. "How much has he lost?" I asked, my voice barely a whisper. "Based on what I've been able to track, approximately $180,000 over the past 18 months. I felt like I'd been punched. How is that even possible? He started with online poker, small bets at first. Then he discovered high-stakes games. He'd win sometimes, which made it worse. The wins kept him hooked, but the house always wins eventually." Marcus pulled out bank statements. I don't know how he got them, and I didn't ask. "Rebecca doesn't work anymore. She quit her job at the marketing firm 2 years ago. They've been living off Derek's salary and credit cards. Lots of credit cards." He showed me more documents. Credit card statements with balances that made me sick. $45,000 on one, $38,000 on another. The minimum payments alone were thousands of dollars a month. "They're drowning," Linda said quietly. "Worse than drowning," Marcus continued. 3 months ago, Derek borrowed money from people you don't want to owe money to. He showed me photos of Derek meeting with a man outside a warehouse. The man looked dangerous. Cold eyes, expensive suit, the kind of person who doesn't forgive debts. "Who is that?" "His name is Viktor Koslov. He runs a private lending operation. When people can't get money from banks anymore, they go to him. His interest rates are criminal. Literally. And when people don't pay him back..." Marcus didn't finish the sentence. He didn't have to. "How much does Derek owe him?" $80,000, with interest compounding weekly. Derek has until the end of next month to pay, or things will get very unpleasant. I looked at the photos of my son-in-law. I'd never particularly liked Derek. He was charming, but shallow. Too smooth. Too quick with compliments that felt empty. But I'd accepted him because Rebecca loved him. Now I understood. Rebecca wasn't betraying me because she was greedy or cruel. She was desperate. She was trying to save her husband, maybe save their lives. "There's more," Marcus said. He showed me printouts of text messages between Rebecca and Derek. I don't know how he got these either. I decided not to ask. The texts were heartbreaking. Rebecca: "I can't keep lying to my mother. This is killing me." Derek: "It's temporary, baby. Once we have the money, everything will be fine. We pay off Victor, we start fresh. Your mom will be taken care of." Rebecca: "She's going to hate me." Derek: "She'll understand eventually. You're doing this for us, for our future." Rebecca: "I feel sick every time I see her." Derek: "Then don't see her. Just get it done. We're running out of time." I stared at those messages. My daughter was in pain, but she was still choosing him over me, still choosing his mistakes over our relationship. "There's one more thing," Marcus said. "I followed Rebecca last week. She didn't tour any assisted living facilities." "Where did she go?" He showed me photos of Rebecca outside a luxury real estate office in Miami, looking at condos, expensive ones. She and Derek are planning to take the money from your house sale, pay off the debts, and relocate. Start over somewhere new. The room was silent except for the clock ticking on the wall. Everything made horrible sense now. The lies about my mental health, the forged signatures, the manipulation. All of it was to fund Derek's addiction and their escape plan. "What do you want to do with this information?" Marcus asked. I looked at the evidence spread across my coffee table. Photos of betrayal, documents of deception, text messages that broke my heart. "I want to save it all," I said. "Every single piece." "What are you planning?" I met his eyes. "I'm planning to teach my daughter a lesson she'll never forget." The next morning, Rebecca showed up at my door with a stranger. "Mom, this is Dr. Westfield. He's a friend of mine, and I asked him to stop by to check on you." The man was in his 50s, wearing a white coat and carrying a medical bag. He smiled warmly and extended his hand. "Mrs. Chen, lovely to meet you. Your daughter's just concerned about your well-being. I thought I'd do a quick wellness check." I knew exactly what this was. Rebecca was building her case. Getting medical evidence of my supposed decline. Thanks to Marcus Reed, I also knew that Dr. Westfield wasn't a real doctor. His name was David Westfield, and he was an actor Derek knew from a community theater group. He'd been paid $500 to play this role, but Rebecca didn't know that I knew, so I played along. "Oh, how thoughtful," I said, letting them inside, though I really don't think it's necessary. "Just routine, Mom," Rebecca said. Her smile didn't reach her eyes. "Dr. Westfield asked me basic questions. What year was it? Who was the president? Could I count backwards from 100 by sevens?" I answered everything correctly, but I made myself seem slightly uncertain, pausing before answers, looking confused occasionally. Rebecca watched with this awful mixture of guilt and relief on her face. "Mrs. Chen, I do think you're showing some signs of cognitive decline," the fake doctor said. "Nothing severe yet, but enough that I'd recommend supervision. Your daughter mentioned assisted living, and I think that's a wise choice." "Really?" I made my voice small, worried. "It's for the best," he said gently. "You'll be much safer." After they left, I immediately called Mr. Patterson. "They're escalating," I told him. "Rebecca brought a fake doctor to assess me." "Did you record it?" "Every word." I placed my phone on the coffee table, recording the entire conversation. "Good. That's evidence of fraud. Margaret, I think you need to move quickly on the trust. They're building momentum." "The papers are ready?" "Yes. Come in today. We'll execute the transfer." That afternoon, I signed documents transferring my house into an irrevocable trust. Mr. Patterson had structured it carefully. I would retain the right to live in the house for the rest of my life. Upon my death, it would pass to my grandson Ryan. Rebecca was not mentioned anywhere in the trust. "The house is now legally protected," Mr. Patterson explained. "Even if Rebecca somehow gets power of attorney, she cannot sell it, mortgage it, or access any equity. It's untouchable." I felt a massive weight lift from my shoulders. "Thank you," I whispered. That evening, Derek came to visit me. Alone. This was new. Derek never visited alone. "Margaret," he said, using my first name like we were peers. "I wanted to talk to you privately." He sat down uninvited, leaning forward with his elbows on his knees. Concerned, caring, fake. "Rebecca is really struggling with this transition," he said. "She feels terrible about moving you out of the house, but she loves you so much, and she just wants what's best for you." "I know," I said softly. "The thing is, the buyers are getting impatient. They want to close quickly, and the assisted living facility needs a deposit, so we were hoping you could sign a few papers, just to keep things moving smoothly." He pulled documents from his jacket pocket. "Power of attorney forms. This just gives Rebecca the legal authority to handle the sale and your care arrangements, Derek said. It makes everything easier, less stressful for you. His smile was so warm, so trustworthy. I understood how people believed con artists. They made you want to believe them. Can I read through these first? I asked. Something flickered in his eyes. Annoyance, maybe, but he kept smiling. Of course. Take your time, but if you could sign them by tomorrow, that would be really helpful. We're kind of on a deadline. I bet you are, I thought. Victor Kozlov's deadline. I'll do my best, I said. After Derek left, I photographed every page of the documents he'd left. Then I called Marcus Reed. They're pressuring me to sign power of attorney, I said. Don't sign anything. I won't. But Marcus, I need you to keep following them. I need to know every move they make. Already on it, Mrs. Chen. That night, I couldn't sleep again. But this time, it wasn't from shock or grief. It was from anger. Derek had looked me in the eye and lied, smiled while trying to steal from me, used my daughter's love for him to manipulate her into betraying me. And Rebecca was letting him. I thought about calling her, confronting her, asking her how she could do this to me. But I didn't, because confronting her now would only make them more careful, more desperate. I needed them to think they were winning. I needed them to feel safe enough to make mistakes. And then, when the moment was right, I would show them exactly who they were dealing with. Not a confused old woman, not a victim, a mother who'd been pushed too far. 3 days later, my grandson Ryan knocked on my door. He was 19, tall and lean with his grandfather's kind eyes and messy dark hair that never quite stayed in place. Grandma! He wrapped me in a hug that lifted me off my feet slightly. I've missed you. Ryan, sweetheart, what brings you by? I tried to keep my voice normal, but something in my expression must have shown. He pulled back, studying my face. Are you okay? You look tired. I'm fine, honey. Come in. Are you hungry? I made cookies yesterday. We sat in the kitchen, and I watched him devour chocolate chip cookies the way only a 19-year-old can. For a few minutes, I let myself pretend everything was normal. How's college? I asked. Still planning to major in marine biology? His whole face lit up. Grandma, it's incredible. Last week we went on a research boat and studied tide pool ecosystems. I got to hold a sea star, a real one in the wild, and my professor says if my grades stay strong, I might qualify for a summer internship at the Monterey Bay Aquarium. The excitement in his voice reminded me so much of Tom. My husband had the same passion for the ocean. It's why we bought this house 40 years ago. Your grandpa would be so proud of you, I said softly. Ryan's expression shifted, became serious. Grandma, I need to ask you something, and I need you to be honest with me. My heart sped up. Of course. Mom says you're moving, that you're going to some kind of care facility. I chose my words carefully. Your mother thinks that would be best for me. But what do you think? I looked at my grandson. Really looked at him. He had integrity written all over his face, the kind of character that can't be faked. I think I'm perfectly capable of living in my own home, I said quietly. Ryan nodded slowly. That's what I thought. Because, Grandma, you're the sharpest person I know. You help me with my essay edits. You remember everyone's birthdays. You're teaching yourself Italian on that app. You're not declining. Tears pricked my eyes. Your mother is worried about me. Is she? Ryan's voice had an edge I'd never heard before. Because honestly, Grandma, my parents have been acting really weird lately. What do you mean? He hesitated, then spoke in a rush. They fight all the time now. I mean, they try to hide it, but I hear them. It's always about money. Dad keeps saying it'll be fine once we get the house money. And Mom cries a lot. Like, a lot. I came home early from class last week and found her just sitting in her car in the driveway crying. My heart broke for Rebecca. Despite everything, she was still my daughter. Money troubles can be stressful, I said carefully. It's more than that. Dad's been gone a lot at night, says he's working late, but I don't think he is. And they keep having these intense whispered conversations that stop when I walk in the room. Ryan looked at me with those honest eyes. Grandma, I don't want you to leave this house. This house is you. It's Grandpa. It's our family. Every summer I've spent here, learning to swim in that ocean, building sand castles on that beach, sitting on that deck, watching sunsets with you and Grandpa. You can't leave. Sometimes things are complicated, sweetheart. Then uncomplicate them. You're the strongest person I know. If you don't want to go, don't go. I reached across the table and took his hand. Ryan, do you trust me? Of course. Then trust that I'm handling this. I promise you I'm not going anywhere I don't want to go. He squeezed my hand. Good. Because if anyone tries to force you out of this house, they'll have to go through me. After Ryan left, I stood on the deck and watched the ocean. The same ocean Tom and I had watched together. The same ocean I'd watched Ryan play in as a child. This house wasn't just mine. It was our family's legacy. And Ryan understood that in a way, Rebecca had forgotten. My phone buzzed. A text from Rebecca. Did you sign those papers Derek left? We really need them ASAP. I looked at that text for a long moment. Then I typed back, Not yet. I want to read them carefully first. Can we talk tomorrow? Mom, there's nothing to read. It's standard paperwork. Just sign them, please. The please felt like an afterthought. Tomorrow, I typed. I promise we'll talk tomorrow. I needed to buy time. Mr. Patterson was finalizing the trust documents. Marcus was still gathering evidence. And I was formulating a plan. A plan that would protect Ryan's inheritance. A plan that would expose Derek's lies. A plan that would teach Rebecca the hardest lesson of her life. But I needed everything in place first. Tomorrow, I would call Rebecca, and I would give her exactly what she thought she wanted. The next morning, I sat in Mr. Patterson's office again. This time, I brought everything. Marcus Reed's investigative report, photos of Derek at casinos, the fake doctor's visit recording, Derek's power of attorney documents, Rebecca's texts. Mr. Patterson spread it all across his conference table like pieces of a puzzle. This is enough to press criminal charges, he said. Fraud, forgery, attempted theft, elder exploitation. Rebecca and Derek could both face prison time. I don't want them in prison, I said immediately. Then what do you want? I'd been thinking about this for days. What did I want? I wanted my daughter back. The real Rebecca, not this desperate stranger who'd lie and manipulate. I wanted Derek's hold on her broken. I wanted Ryan protected. And I wanted everyone to understand that you don't betray family. I want to expose them, I said slowly. I want them to face what they've done. But I also want to give Rebecca a chance to make this right. How? The house is already in trust for Ryan, correct? Yes. Irrevocable. No one can touch it. Good. Now I need you to help me set a trap. Mr. Patterson leaned back in his chair, a small smile playing at his lips. I'm listening. I laid out my plan. I'm going to call Rebecca today and tell her I'll sign the power of attorney documents. I'm going to tell her I've accepted that moving is best, that I trust her to handle everything. That will make her feel safe. Exactly. Then I'm going to suggest we have a gathering, a goodbye party here at the house, one last family celebration before I move. You want witnesses. I want everyone who matters there, family, friends, Ryan especially. And then I confront them. in front of everyone with all the evidence. Mr. Patterson was quiet for a moment. Margaret, that's going to be brutal for you and for Rebecca. I know. She's your daughter. Are you sure you want to humiliate her publicly? I thought about that. Was I being cruel? But then I thought about the forged signature, the lies about my mental health, the fake doctor, the manipulation, the willingness to throw me into a facility so she could fund her husband's gambling addiction. She was willing to humiliate me, I said quietly. She told family members I was losing my mind. She brought a fake doctor to my home. She was going to put me in a facility against my will. If I don't do this publicly, she'll just find another way, another excuse, another manipulation. You want accountability. I want her to see what she's become, and I want it to hurt enough that she never does this to anyone else. Mr. Patterson nodded slowly. All right, let's do it. But we need to be careful. If Derek realizes you know about the gambling debts and the loan shark, he might get dangerous. That's why I need you there. And Marcus. And maybe we should inform the police just in case. I'll make some calls. I have contacts in the department who can be nearby but out of sight. We spent the next hour planning every detail, what I would say, who I would invite, how we'd set up the reveal. One more thing, Mr. Patterson said. The cognitive assessment. You did it yesterday, correct? Yes. Dr. Morrison at the University Clinic. 2 hours of testing. And? She said I have the cognitive function of someone 20 years younger. Perfect memory, reasoning, problem solving. She's writing up a formal report. That's your shield. When Rebecca claims you're incompetent, you'll have medical proof that you're sharper than most people half your age. I left Mr. Patterson's office with a detailed plan and a timeline. In 3 days, I would have my gathering. In 3 days, I would face my daughter. In 3 days, everything would change. That afternoon, I called Rebecca. She answered on the first ring. Mom, did you sign the papers? I made my voice tired, defeated. Becca, can you come over? I want to talk about everything. Is something wrong? No, I've been thinking. About what you said. About what's best for me. There was a pause. I could almost hear her relief. I'll be there in 30 minutes. When Rebecca arrived, I was sitting on the deck with tea and cookies, playing the role of the resigned elderly mother. She sat down, her expression cautious. Mom? I've decided you're right, I said softly, about the assisted living, about everything. I'm tired of fighting. I'm tired of being alone in this big house. Rebecca's eyes filled with tears, real tears. Oh, Mom, I'm so glad you understand. This is really what's best. I know, sweetheart. I know you're just trying to take care of me. The lie tasted bitter, but I said it anyway. I'll sign the papers Derek left. You can handle the sale, the move, all of it. I trust you. Rebecca actually sobbed. She reached across the table and grabbed my hands. Thank you. Thank you, Mom. I promise you won't regret this. The facility is beautiful. You'll make friends. You'll be happy. I squeezed her hands, looking into her eyes. My daughter, my baby girl, who'd chosen so poorly. I have one request, I said. Anything. I want to have a party, here at the house. One last gathering before I go. Family, friends, everyone who's been part of our lives here. A proper goodbye. Rebecca hesitated. Is that really necessary? It would mean everything to me. Just one afternoon, next Saturday. You'll help me plan it, won't you? She couldn't say no, not when I was being so cooperative. Of course, Mom. Whatever you want. Wonderful. Invite everyone. Your father would have wanted the whole family together one last time in this house. After Rebecca left, I sat alone on the deck as the sun set. The trap was set. The players were in position. Now I just had to wait for the final act. The next 5 days were an exercise in acting. I played the compliant mother perfectly. I signed Derek's power of attorney documents in front of Rebecca, watching her relief flood across her face. What she didn't know was that Mr. Patterson had already filed paperwork invalidating any transactions made under that power of attorney. The documents she had were worthless, but she didn't know that. Rebecca threw herself into planning the party with an energy that might have been genuine guilt or just eagerness to get this over with. I have invited Aunt Dorothy, Uncle Jim, your cousins, and Linda, of course, she said, checking her list. Who else? Ryan, I said. He needs to be here. Of course. I already told him. And maybe some of our neighbors. The Harrisons have been so kind over the years. Sure, Mom. Whatever you want. I watched her make calls, send invitations, order food. She was efficient and organized. The Rebecca I remembered. But every so often, I'd catch her checking her phone with this anxious expression. Derek would text, and her whole body would tense. One afternoon while she was at my house arranging furniture for the party, her phone rang. She looked at the screen, and her face went white. I need to take this outside, she said quickly. I watched through the window as she paced my driveway, arguing with whoever was on the other end. Her free hand gestured frantically. At one point, she looked like she might cry. When she came back in, she was shaking. Everything okay? I asked innocently. Fine. Just Derek. Work stuff. Liar. That evening, Marcus Reed called me with an update. Derek met with Victor Kozlov again today. It didn't look friendly. Kozlov's people are getting impatient. They're watching Derek's house now. Following him? Places. How long does he have? Based on what I overheard, about 2 weeks. After that, things get ugly. 2 weeks. My party was in 2 days. They were running out of time, which made them dangerous, but it also made them sloppy. Keep monitoring them, I said. And Marcus? Be at my house Saturday at 2 o'clock. Stay in your car down the street, but be ready in case anything goes wrong. You got it, Mrs. Chen. The day before the party, Rebecca came over with bags of decorations. I thought we could make it festive, she said. Celebrate all your happy memories here. We hung streamers and arranged flowers. We set up tables on the deck overlooking the ocean. It looked beautiful. It looked like a celebration, not an execution. That night, Linda came over after Rebecca left. Are you sure about this? She asked. You can still change your mind. Press charges quietly. Handle it through the courts. And then what? Rebecca never understands what she did wrong? She just thinks she got caught? She's going to hate you, Maggie. Maybe. Or maybe she'll finally wake up. Linda sighed. You're braver than me. No, I'm just a mother who's tired of watching her daughter destroy herself. We sat on the deck, drinking wine and watching the stars. Tom would be proud of you, Linda said quietly, standing up for yourself like this, protecting Ryan. It's what he would have wanted. I miss him, I whispered. I miss having someone on my side. You have me, and you have Ryan, and after tomorrow, maybe you'll have Rebecca back too. Or I'll lose her forever. Then she was already lost. Saturday morning arrived with perfect weather, sunny, warm, a gentle breeze off the ocean. I dressed carefully, the blue dress Tom always loved, the pearl necklace he gave me for our 30th anniversary. I looked at myself in the mirror. 68 years old, white hair, lines around my eyes from decades of smiling. But my eyes were sharp, clear, determined. I looked like a woman ready for battle. At noon, guests started arriving. Ryan came first, hugging me tight. This is a really nice thing you're doing, Grandma. Saying goodbye to the house properly. I smiled and said nothing. Aunt Dorothy arrived with Uncle Jim. Cousins I hadn't seen in months, neighbors, friends. Linda stationed herself near me like a bodyguard. And then Rebecca and Derek arrived. Rebecca wore a designer dress I knew she couldn't afford. Derek wore a suit and his trademark smile. They walked in like they owned the place. Soon, I thought, soon you'll understand that you never did. Rebecca played her role beautifully. She moved through the party like the perfect devoted daughter, touching my arm affectionately, bringing me water, making sure I was comfortable. Mom's been so brave about this transition, she told Aunt Dorothy. It's not easy leaving your home, but she knows it's the right thing. Aunt Dorothy patted my hand sympathetically. You're very strong, Margaret. If only she knew. Derek worked the crowd too, charming everyone. He told stories, laughed at jokes, played the supportive son-in-law. I watched him check his phone constantly. His smile would freeze for just a second when he looked at the screen, then snap back into place. Ryan stayed close to me. He seemed uneasy, though I don't think he could have said why. You okay, Grandma? He asked quietly. I'm perfect, sweetheart. At 2:00, I saw Marcus Reed's car parked down the street. Right on time. At 2:15, Mr. Patterson arrived. Rebecca looked surprised. Mr. Patterson. I didn't know you were invited. Margaret asked me to come, he said smoothly. I've known this family a long time. He took a position near the deck doors where he could see everything. At 2:30, I stood up and tapped my glass with a spoon. The conversations quieted. Everyone turned to look at me. Thank you all for coming, I said. My voice was steady, strong. It means the world to me to have everyone I love here in this house one last time. We love you, Mom, Rebecca said, her eyes glistening. I looked at her. Really looked at her. This house has been my home for 40 years. My husband Tom and I built a life here. We raised our daughter here. We created memories that I'll treasure forever. People smiled. Some dabbed at their eyes. Tom built that deck with his own hands, I continued, pointing. Every board, every nail. He said it was important to build things that last, things you can pass down to the next generation. Ryan was watching me intently now. He believed in legacy, in family, in teaching our children values that matter more than money. Derek shifted uncomfortably. And he believed in truth. The atmosphere in the room changed. People sensed something coming. Mom, Rebecca said nervously, maybe you should sit down. You're getting tired. I'm not tired, Rebecca. I'm perfectly clear-minded. In fact, I just had a complete cognitive assessment done by Dr. Morrison at the university. Would you like to know the results? Rebecca's face went pale. Dr. Morrison said I have the mental capacity of someone in their 40s. Perfect memory, perfect reasoning, perfect judgment. I pulled the report from my pocket and held it up. So I'm not confused. I'm not declining, and I don't need to be put in a care facility. The room was dead silent. What are you talking about? Aunt Dorothy asked, confused. I'm talking about the fact that my daughter has spent the last 4 months lying to all of you about my mental health, telling you I'm losing my memory, that I'm confused, that I need professional care. Rebecca stood up. Mom, that's not... She forged my signature to sell this house. She brought a fake doctor to my home to build a case that I'm incompetent. She tried to get power of attorney over my affairs by claiming I have dementia. Gasps around the room. People looked at Rebecca in shock. That's not true! Rebecca's voice was shaking. Mom, you're confused. You're upset about the move, and you're... I have evidence, Rebecca. I nodded to Mr. Patterson. He opened his briefcase and pulled out a folder. I have the forged signature, the recording of the fake doctor visit, text messages, bank records showing your attempts to access my accounts, all of it documented, all of it illegal. Rebecca's face crumbled. Derek stood up. This is ridiculous. Margaret, you're clearly having some kind of episode. Sit down, Derek. My voice cut through the room like a knife. Sit down and let me tell everyone about your gambling addiction, about the $180,000 you've lost, about Viktor Kozlov and the debt collectors following you, about how you manipulated my daughter into stealing from me to pay for your mistakes. Derek froze. The entire room stared at him. I don't know what she's talking about, he said, but his voice wavered. I have photos, Derek, of you at casinos, meeting with Kozlov. I have your credit card statements, your loan documents. I have everything. If you've ever had to stand up to someone who betrayed you, who lied to your face, who tried to steal from you while pretending to care about you, comment with your strength emoji and tell us how you found the courage. Because what I did next required every ounce of strength I'd built over 68 years. I turned to the whole room. My daughter was going to put me in a facility, sell my house for $850,000, and use that money to pay off her husband's gambling debts. Then they were going to move to Miami and start over. Ryan stood up, his face a mixture of shock and fury. Mom, he said, looking at Rebecca, is this true? Rebecca was crying now, really crying. Ryan, you don't understand. We didn't have a choice. They were going to hurt your father. We needed the money. So you were going to throw Grandma away? Ryan's voice shook. Lock her up somewhere so you could steal her house? It's not like that. Then what is it like? I asked quietly. Rebecca looked at me, tears streaming down her face. And for the first time in months, I saw my real daughter. Not the desperate woman Derek had turned her into, but the girl I raised, the girl who knew right from wrong, the girl who was horrified by what she'd become. The silence in the room was suffocating. Rebecca stood there, exposed, tears running down her face. Derek looked like he wanted to run. Ryan stared at his parents like he'd never seen them before. Aunt Dorothy broke the silence. Margaret, is this really true? All of it? Every word, I said. Mr. Uppers. Patterson has all the documentation if anyone wants to see it. People started murmuring, shocked whispers, uncomfortable glances at Rebecca and Derek. I need everyone to understand something, I said, raising my voice slightly. I didn't tell you all this to humiliate my daughter. I told you because she needs to face the truth of what she's done, and because there's one more thing you all need to know. I walked to the bookshelf and pulled out a sealed envelope. It was yellowed with age, my name written on the front in Tom's handwriting. The room went completely quiet. Before my husband died, when he knew he didn't have much time left, he wrote letters. Some of you received them after he passed. Words of love, memories, goodbyes. I held up the envelope. But he wrote one letter that I was instructed not to open unless something very specific happened. His lawyer gave it to me with clear instructions. Only open this if one of our children ever betrayed the family trust for money. Rebecca's eyes widened. Mom, no, please. Tom knew, I continued, my voice breaking slightly. He knew that sometimes people make terrible choices. He hoped it would never happen, but he prepared for it anyway. My hands shook as I broke the seal. Inside were 2 pages in Tom's familiar handwriting. I started to read aloud. My dearest Maggie, if you're reading this, then something I feared has come to pass. One of our children has chosen money over family, greed over integrity, deception over truth. The words felt heavy in the air. I want you to know that this is not your fault. You raised our children with love and values, but sometimes people lose their way. Sometimes they make choices that break our hearts. I had to pause. My vision was blurring with tears. The beach house is not just property. It's our legacy. I built it with my hands and my heart. Every room holds our story, and I don't want that story to end with betrayal. Tom's words continued. If Rebecca has done what I feared, I want you to be strong. Don't let guilt or love for her make you weak. Stand up for yourself. Stand up for what we built together. And most importantly, protect the next generation. I looked at Ryan. He was crying too. Ryan represents the best of us. His love for the ocean, his integrity, his kindness. He deserves to inherit what we built. Not because Rebecca doesn't deserve forgiveness, but because legacy should go to those who will honor it. The letter went on. Maggie, I'm asking you to transfer the house to Ryan's care. Let him be the guardian of our family's story. Let him build his own memories there with his own children someday. Let the house be what it was always meant to be, a place of love, not a commodity to be sold in desperation. My voice was barely a whisper now. And Rebecca, if you're hearing this, know that I loved you. I always loved you. But love doesn't mean accepting betrayal. Love sometimes means letting someone face the consequences of their choices so they can learn and grow and become the person they're meant to be. I folded the letter carefully. Your father knew this might happen, and he left instructions. I turned to Mr. Patterson. The house is already in an irrevocable trust. Isn't it? Rebecca whispered. Yes, Mr. Patterson confirmed. As of last week, this house legally belongs to Ryan. Your mother has the right to live here for the rest of her life, but you cannot sell it, mortgage it, or access any equity from it. Derek's face turned red. You old... Finish that sentence and you'll regret it, Ryan said, stepping between Derek and me. Don't you dare talk to my grandmother that way. This is insane, Derek shouted. We needed that money. Do you have any idea what's going to happen to us? You should have thought about that before you gambled it away, Mr. Patterson said coldly, and before you manipulated your wife into committing fraud. Derek looked around the room at all the faces staring at him with disgust. Then he turned and walked out. Just left. Didn't even look back at Rebecca. Rebecca stood there, abandoned, exposed, broken. She looked at me with devastation in her eyes. Mom, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Are you sorry for what you did? I asked quietly. Or sorry that you got caught? She crumpled to her knees, sobbing. I don't know. I don't know anymore. I don't know who I've become. The party was over. Guests had left quietly, awkwardly, not knowing what to say. Aunt Dorothy had hugged me on her way out, whispering, You did the right thing. Now it was just me, Rebecca, Ryan, Linda, and Mr. Patterson. Rebecca sat on the couch, her face in her hands. She'd been crying for 20 minutes straight. Ryan stood by the window, staring out at the ocean, his jaw tight. What happens now? Rebecca finally asked, her voice hoarse. Mr. Patterson spoke first. Legally, you've committed multiple crimes. Fraud, forgery, attempted theft, elder exploitation. Your mother could press charges. You could face prison time. Rebecca flinched. Is that what you want, Mom? To see me in prison? I sat down across from her. What I want is to understand. I want to know when you stopped being my daughter and became someone I don't recognize. I'm still your daughter. Are you? Because my daughter wouldn't have lied to me for months, wouldn't have tried to steal from me, wouldn't have been willing to lock me away in a facility just to get money. I was desperate. So was I, Rebecca. When your father died, I was desperate with grief. When I couldn't sleep for months because I missed him so much. When this house felt empty and huge and lonely, but I didn't betray anyone. I didn't lie. I didn't manipulate. She looked up at me, her face destroyed. Derek said it would be okay. He said we'd pay everything back. He said you'd be taken care of and we'd visit you and everything would be fine. And you believed him? I wanted to believe him. I wanted to believe there was a way out that didn't involve losing everything. Our house is being foreclosed on, Mom. We're drowning in debt. I haven't slept through the night in months. Every day someone new calls demanding money we don't have. So you decided to sacrifice me? I didn't know what else to do. Ryan turned from the window. You could have asked for help, he said, his voice hard. You could have been honest. You could have told Grandma you were struggling. Instead, you lied. You manipulated. You tried to destroy her. Ryan, please. No, Mom. You don't get to please me right now. Do you have any idea what you almost did? Grandma loves this house. It's her whole life. It's where Grandpa died. It's our family history. And you were going to rip her away from it and dump her in some facility so Dad could pay off gambling debts? Rebecca's shoulders shook with sobs. I know. I know it's unforgivable. Maybe it is, I said quietly. Maybe it isn't. But Rebecca, you need to understand something. This isn't just about what you did to me. It's about what you're doing to yourself. You've let Derek turn you into someone who lies and steals, someone who betrays family. I love him. Love shouldn't cost you your integrity. Mr. Patterson cleared his throat. Margaret, you need to decide. Are you pressing charges or not? I looked at my daughter, really looked at her. She was 42 years old, but right now she looked like a scared child. I thought about what Tom wrote in his letter, about consequences and growth and becoming who you're meant to be. I'm giving you a choice, Rebecca, I said slowly. 2 paths. You pick. She looked up at me, terrified. Path 1. I press charges. You face the legal consequences of what you've done. You might go to prison. Your life will be destroyed, but it will be justice. And path 2? Path 2. I don't press charges, but you have conditions to meet, non-negotiable conditions. What conditions? First, you leave Derek. Today, you file for divorce immediately. Rebecca's face went white. Mom, I can't. Yes, you can. He's destroying you, Rebecca. He's turned you into someone who would betray your own mother. As long as you're with him, you'll keep making terrible choices. What else? You get therapy. Real therapy with a professional who specializes in financial abuse and codependency. Twice a week for at least a year. She nodded slowly. You get a job. Any job. You support yourself. You rebuild your life from the ground up without Derek's influence. Okay. And you earn back my trust. That doesn't happen overnight, or that might take years. You come here every week. We talk. We work through this. You prove to me that you're the daughter I raised and not the desperate woman Derek created. Tears streamed down Rebecca's face. Can I ever earn it back? Your trust? I reached across and took her hand. I don't know, sweetheart, but I'm willing to give you the chance to try. Because you're still my daughter, and I still love you. But love doesn't mean accepting betrayal. Love means holding people accountable so they can be better. Rebecca squeezed my hand. I choose path 2. I'll do whatever it takes. I promise. Then you start today, right now. Call Derek and tell him you're done. Rebecca pulled out her phone with shaking hands. She dialed. Derek answered on the second ring. Where the hell are you? We need to figure out what to do about... I want a divorce, Rebecca said, her voice stronger than I expected. It's over, Derek. I'm done. We could hear him yelling through the phone. She hung up. Then she looked at me. What do I do now? Now, I said, you start rebuilding. That night, Rebecca stayed at my house. She couldn't go home. Derek was there, and she was terrified of facing him after what she'd done. He's going to be so angry, she whispered as we sat on the deck after everyone left. Let him be angry, I said. That's not your problem anymore. He'll blame me for everything, for losing the house money, for exposing him in front of everyone. Rebecca, He should blame himself. None of this is your fault. His gambling, his debts, his lies. That's all on him. She was quiet for a long time, staring at the ocean. When did I become so weak? She finally asked. I used to be strong. I had a career, friends, self-respect. Then I married Derek, and somehow I just disappeared. You didn't disappear. You got lost. But you can find your way back. I don't even know who I am anymore without him. Then you're going to figure it out, starting tomorrow. The next morning, Mr. Patterson came by with divorce papers already drawn up. I took the liberty of preparing these, he said. Given the circumstances, I'm recommending you file for divorce based on financial fraud and abuse. It'll protect you legally from Derek's debts. Rebecca signed with shaking hands. What about Ryan? She asked me. He's so angry with me. Did you see the way he looked at me yesterday? He's hurt. You betrayed his grandmother. He needs time. Will he ever forgive me? That's up to you. You have to earn it. Later that day, Derek showed up. I saw his car pull into the driveway and immediately called Marcus Reed, who was still monitoring the situation. He's here, I said quietly. I'm 2 minutes away. Don't let him in. Derek pounded on the door. Rebecca, I know you're in there. We need to talk. I opened the door, but stood in the doorway, blocking his entry. She doesn't want to see you, Derek. Get out of my way, Margaret. This is between me and my wife, your soon-to-be ex-wife. And no, you're not coming in my house. His face was red, his eyes wild. This is your fault. All of it. You turned her against me. We had a plan, and you ruined everything. Your plan was to steal from me and abandon me in a facility. That plan deserved to be ruined. We needed that money. Do you have any idea what these people are going to do to me? That's your problem, Derek. You gambled it away. You borrowed from dangerous people. You made those choices. Rebecca appeared behind me. Derek, just go, please. Baby, come on. We can fix this. We'll figure something out together. We always do. No, Rebecca said, her voice trembling but firm. We don't. You figure things out and I go along with them. You make messes and I clean them up. You lie and I cover for you. I'm done. You can't be serious. I'm your husband. You're a gambling addict who almost made me destroy my mother, who convinced me to commit crimes, who took away everything good about me. Derek's expression turned ugly. You're nothing without me. You know that, right? You're a 42-year-old woman with no job, no money, no prospects. You need me. Actually, Mr. Patterson said, appearing on the porch, she doesn't. She has legal representation, family support, and a solid case for divorce based on your financial abuse. What she doesn't need is a man who destroys everything he touches. Marcus Reed's car pulled up. I think it's time for you to leave, Marcus said, stepping out. Derek looked at all of us, his face twisting with rage and desperation. You're all going to regret this, especially you, Rebecca. You'll come crawling back when reality hits. Get off my property, I said coldly, and if you come back, I'm calling the police and showing them all the evidence I have of your fraud. Derek left, tires screeching as he sped away. Rebecca collapsed into a chair, sobbing. I almost threw everything away for him. My relationship with you, with Ryan, my self-respect, everything. I knelt beside her, but you didn't. You stopped. You made a different choice. That's what matters now. It's going to be so hard, Mom, starting over at my age. I know, sweetheart, but hard doesn't mean impossible, and you won't be alone. She looked at me with red, swollen eyes. After everything I did, why are you helping me? Because you're my daughter, and because everyone deserves a chance to come back from their mistakes. But Rebecca, this is your only chance. If you mess this up, If you go back to Derek or make choices like this again, I'm done. Do you understand? I understand. Then let's start rebuilding. 3 months passed. Rebecca moved into a small apartment across town. She got a job at a marketing agency, entry level, much lower than her old position, but it was honest work. She went to therapy twice a week like she'd promised, and every Sunday she came to the beach house for dinner with me and Ryan. The first few dinners were awkward. Ryan barely spoke to her. The anger was still raw, but slowly, week by week, things started to shift. Rebecca didn't make excuses. She didn't try to justify what she'd done. She just apologized, listened, and showed up. I know I can't undo what I did, she told Ryan one Sunday. I know I hurt Grandma and betrayed your trust. All I can do is be different going forward. Ryan didn't respond at first. Then, quietly, he said, You scared me, Mom. I didn't think you were capable of something like that. I didn't think I was either. But I've learned that when you're desperate and with the wrong person, you can become someone you don't recognize. Are you getting better? In therapy? I'm trying. I'm learning about codependency, about how I lost myself in Derek's chaos. It's painful, but I needed to see it. One afternoon, I sat with Ryan on the deck while he studied for his marine biology exam. I want to show you something, I said, pulling out the trust documents. He looked at the papers, confused at first. Then his eyes widened. Grandma, this says the house is mine. When I pass away, yes. But even now, you're the legal beneficiary. This house is your legacy. I don't know what to say. Your grandfather and I built this house as a family home. It was always meant to be passed down. You understand what it represents. The ocean, the memories, the values. You'll protect it. Ryan's eyes filled with tears. I'll take care of it, Grandma. I promise. And when I have kids someday, they'll grow up here too, learning about the ocean, just like Grandpa taught me. That's exactly what he would have wanted. We sat in comfortable silence, watching the waves. What about Mom? Ryan asked. Does she ever get the house back? The house isn't hers to get back. It was never meant to be sold or traded. But Ryan, your mother is welcome here. She can visit, stay over, be part of this family. The house isn't a punishment. It's protection. She's really trying, isn't she? Yes, she is. Do you think you'll ever trust her again? I thought about that. Trust isn't a switch you flip on and off. It's built slowly through consistent action over time. Your mother broke my trust badly, but every week she shows up. Every week she's honest. Every week she does the work. That matters. I think I'm starting to forgive her, Ryan admitted. I'm still angry sometimes, but I can see she's different now. That's good. Forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting. It means deciding not to let someone's mistakes control your life anymore. The divorce was finalized in the 4th month. Derek didn't contest it. According to Marcus Reed, he'd left the state, probably running from his debts. Rebecca cried when the papers came through, but they were complicated tears. Relief mixed with grief. I wasted so many years on him, she told me. You didn't waste them. You learned from them. Now you use those lessons to build something better. By month 5, Rebecca had been promoted at her job. Small step, but it was progress. She started exercising again, reading, reconnecting with old friends she'd lost touch with. She started looking like herself again. One Sunday, she brought flowers to the house. These are for you, she said, handing them to me. Just because. Because I love you. Because I'm grateful you didn't give up on me. I took the flowers, and for the first time in months, I hugged my daughter without any reservation. I'm proud of you, I whispered. Your father would be proud too. She held on tight. I'm going to spend the rest of my life making this up to you. You don't have to make it up to me, Rebecca. You just have to be the person you're meant to be. That evening, the three of us sat on the deck watching the sunset. Me, Rebecca, and Ryan. 3 generations. Broken, healing, and stronger than before. The legacy wasn't just the house. It was this. Family that survives betrayal and finds its way back to love. 1 year later, I stood on my deck watching Ryan and Rebecca walk along the beach together. They were laughing about something. The sound carried on the wind, mixing with the crash of the waves. A year ago, I'd faced the worst betrayal of my life. Today, I was watching my family heal. It hadn't been easy. There were setbacks, days when Rebecca struggled, days when Ryan's anger flared up again, days when I questioned whether I'd done the right thing. But we kept showing up for each other. Rebecca had been sober from Derek for a full year. She'd completed her therapy program, though she still went to sessions monthly. She'd rebuilt her career and her self-respect. Most importantly, she'd rebuilt her relationship with truth. I understand now why you exposed me the way you did, she told me recently. If you'd confronted me privately, I would have made excuses. I would have minimized it, but facing everyone, seeing their faces, hearing Dad's letter, I couldn't hide from what I'd become. It was the hardest thing I've ever done, I admitted. It was the most loving thing you could have done. You didn't let me destroy myself. Ryan was thriving at college. His marine biology program was going well, and he spent weekends at the beach house studying and helping me maintain the property. This house is special, Grandma, he told me. Every time I'm here, I feel connected to Grandpa, to our family history. I understand why you fought so hard for it. The house had never been about the money or the property value. It was about legacy, about values, about teaching the next generation what truly matters. Linda came over one afternoon for tea. You did good, Maggie, she said, watching Rebecca and Ryan on the beach. A year ago, I wasn't sure your family would survive this. Neither was I. But look at them now. Rebecca is a different person, and Ryan understands the value of integrity in a way most kids his age don't. Tom knew, I said softly. That's why he wrote that letter. He knew that sometimes the greatest act of love is holding people accountable. I thought about Tom often, about what he would think of how everything turned out. I think he'd be proud. Proud that I stood up for myself. Proud that I protected our legacy. Proud that I gave Rebecca a path to redemption instead of just punishment. The lesson I learned through all of this was complicated. Love doesn't mean accepting betrayal. Love means setting boundaries and expecting people to respect them. Family doesn't mean blind loyalty. Family means holding each other to higher standards. And forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting. It means choosing to believe in someone's ability to change and giving them the space to prove it. I also learned something about myself. At 68, I still had fight in me. I still had strength. Age doesn't make you weak or helpless unless you believe it does. Rebecca brought dinner that evening, homemade lasagna, Tom's old recipe. I found his recipe cards, she said. I wanted to try making it like he used to. We ate together on the deck as the sun set in brilliant colors across the ocean. Mom, Rebecca said quietly, thank you. For what? For not giving up on me, for being strong enough to stop me, for loving me enough to let me face consequences. I wouldn't be here without all of that. I reached across the table and squeezed her hand. You did the hard work, sweetheart. I just pointed you in the right direction. Ryan raised his glass of lemonade. To Grandma, the strongest person I know. We clinked glasses as the sun dipped below the horizon. This house had seen 40 years of life. Joy and sorrow, birth and death. Betrayal and redemption. And it would see many more years. protected, and cherished by the next generation. Tom built this house with his hands, but I protected it with my strength. And together, we created a legacy that would outlast us both. Not a legacy of perfection, but a legacy of resilience. Not a legacy of never falling, but a legacy of always getting back up. Not a legacy of avoiding mistakes, but a legacy of learning from them. That's what I hope Rebecca would teach her own children someday. That's what I knew Ryan would carry forward. And that's the real revenge against betrayal, refusing to let it destroy you, and instead, letting it transform you into someone stronger. Before I close, I want to say this to everyone watching. If you've ever been betrayed by someone you loved, know that you're not alone. If you've ever had to choose between keeping peace and demanding respect, know that respect is worth fighting for. If you've ever felt too old, too tired, or too weak to stand up for yourself, know that you're stronger than you think. Stand up. Set boundaries. Protect what matters. And remember that the greatest legacy you can leave isn't money or property. It's teaching the people you love the difference between right and wrong, even when it costs you everything. Thank you for watching my story. If it resonated with you, please subscribe to Viral Revenge Files Stories and click that notification bell. Share this story with someone who needs to hear it, because somewhere out there, someone is facing the same choice I faced, and they need to know they're strong enough to make it.